Joe, what are your thoughts on potentially a pre-season game being held here in China?
Well, the one thing I continue to say is that the NFL, they're pretty smart business people, and when it comes to knowing where to move next, they seem to have it figured out. They didn't come here for a reason, for no reason, I should say. I mean, obviously they believe there's a big potential of bringing their product here and American football in general. So otherwise they don't waste their time when they go places.
You were playing with some of the kids earlier on your trip here in China. How have you found the level and compared to what you were expecting?
Well, it's like anywhere you go. Some kids were better than others, and obviously it's a little bit more difficult because there's not as many anywhere near the amount of kids playing the sport growing up, and that'll make a big difference once you go back and they start seeing it being played here more and more and more on TV, and more youth will start to play. And I like it similar to soccer in the U.S. because when I was growing up, you could drive around all weekend and never find a soccer game. Now you have a hard time finding Pop Warner football, and all you see is soccer. So I think there's a great potential here. Otherwise, obviously they wouldn't be here. They're still in the very early stages of introduction of the game here, and yeah, we went to the University Bowl yesterday and saw a pretty good flag football game. I haven't seen any full contact, but there are leagues here already, so it's foot's in the ground.
Joe, the development of the game here is obviously an ongoing and slow process, but do you think you'll see perhaps a Chinese-born and raised player play in the NFL in your lifetime?
Well, when you think about it, we have Australians playing in the game. We have all different nations playing in the game. So I don't think there's any. Everybody talks about size. Everybody says, "Well, we're not this." Most of the Chinese aren't very big. And I go turn on the television and look at the skilled positions, especially wide out and running backs. How many are 6'4"? Not, nowadays some of the receivers are a lot bigger, but still you'll find more than your share of guys under 6 foot playing the game at that level. So as long as they get that, they can get that out of their mind that that's not part of the process and not something that's holding them back. But athletically, when you go, the Olympics show how well they do. So there's athletes here. It's just exposing them to our game. Once a player gets into the NFL, that definitely changes, the viewing, in this country, because as it did in the NBA.